Good morning guys, it is a Saturday, it is vlog day, so welcome to today's vlog. Today brings us to a suburb in the new city of Milton Keynes. It's been around since the Dark Ages and it has history, the Domesday Book, etc. There is a story to it around the area that is in the title itself about football coming home, etc. on 2 occasions in 2022. Anyhow, let's enjoy the picturesque town of Newport Pagnell. That is one huge mushroom, but he's a fun guy to be with. We're kind of starting walking parallel with the church of St. Peter and St. Paul's. Been here for centuries. Don't know much about this sort of side of the area. I know that I will show you one of the reasons why I was here. My sister used to live at her first house was here, and I would frequent that quite often growing up. It's just one of those things when you want your home independence when you're young, get away from your mum and dad. So my sister had a place and I would pop along. At the time I would ride what I had, which was a TS125. It was a motocross style road bike. And that said very bike, I purchased it brand new, and 13 weeks later I wrote it off, and it nearly dragged me to me death on Grafton Street roundabout. Basically, there's a tip around Grafton Street, and what happened is there was some old engine oil on the inside of the roundabout. The front wheel washed away. I tried to correct it motocross style. The bike hooked up, high-sided me. I went over the bars, pinned the throttle, and it dragged me down the road. Now with the bike pinning me and dragging me down the road, it took the top of my knee area off like a bacon slicer on the tarmac. What actually happened is the bike hit the curb, bounced into the bushes. I was all in a bit of a huff and a puff like I normally am. I can be a bit of a hothead at times. Sort of basically brushed myself down, hands on hips, swearing and cursing, looking at the bike. People coming up to me would stop their cars and said, "You okay, you okay?" "Yeah, the bike's ruined, it was brand new," etc. And then they turned around and said, "What about your leg?" At that moment I looked down to see my bone around my knee area sticking out through me kneecap joint, and basically collapsed in agony, and an ambulance took me off to hospital, which they proceeded to give me gas and pick the tar out of my leg and give it a good scrub. So I pretty much screamed the place down. So if they turn around and tell you that laughing gas works, it actually doesn't. I believe these would have just been storage areas for your likes of your coal, etc. Maybe even grain. Can't believe they're anything more than that. It's just their little cubby holes, but they're fenced off so you can't get in. And then we have a tunnel going through this side. This brings us out to probably the oldest part of the graveyard. Now you all know me and finding backstories with ghosts, demons, creatures of the night, etc. I don't actually have any for here. Pretty much because it's not about this. I might do it at a later date, find out see if there is a bit of back history to this cemetery, but it does look pretty picturesque and pretty spooky, which is the sort of kind of thing I really love, and it really adds something to the quirkiness of the channel. But I'll just have a brief look around, because I know people do love graveyards. And it can be a bit macabre, but they have their own element of beauty to themselves. It's just myself, some pigeons, the odd squirrel here or there. I'm actually looking for what kids that used to play in this area used to call a cave. It's not actually a cave, it's an old bridge. If I can find it, I shall show it to you guys. This is quite eerie. I'd say it was probably some form of old mausoleum. A larger general family grave. Yeah, great setting if you was a would-be horror movie director or film producer. Not necessarily your major things, more like your B movies, low budget stuff. But yeah, cool and quirky. Can hear people playing in the local river to the side of me. That is your Great River Ouse. It goes off through Buckingham, makes its way all the way up to York. But look at that, very inviting on a hot day like this. Usually an area frequented and played round with the kids in the area. As you can see, there's been a few fires, etc. Someone maybe perhaps sleeping rough. But this is not actually a tunnel, as people will make you believe. This is the part, that's the only part that's left of the old North Street Bridge. There was 3 humps like this, and from there you would have had a ford, which is like the river that's running parallel with us, which would have gone through then, and this bridge area would have gone across the top there. Similar in the likes of what you've got there. And the mode of transport then that people would have used would have been your horse-drawn carts and carriages, etc. And I believe this bridge here and the building over there is an old toll bridge. You would have years ago paid a toll to go over that. Now it's just a house that sits on the property. In the distance there, nothing to do with tolls anymore, and it just adds to the picturesque scenery. I'll tell you one thing, it is baking hot down here. So we're going to get back out onto the high street. Glad I found it. I thought it was a tunnel looking into it, but it's actually part of an old bridge called the North Street Bridge. I would certainly say that bike has seen better days. Something like that dumped next to a sculpture that's been beautifully handcrafted, although it looks like it's rotting away now. Reminds me of the old pixie houses up in Rushmere Woods that we frequent quite often. As stated, that would have been your old toll bridge. The toll would have been where that property is now. That's just called the toll house now, no longer in use. And that is one of your main artery routes into Newport Pagnell itself. That goes off to Sheringham, or Sherrington down in that direction. This is the start of Newport Pagnell, and the vibes that all these places off in Milton Keynes, your likes of your Newport Pagnell, your Fenny Stratford, Stony Stratford, Wolverton, etc., they all give off the vibes of an old seaside town. They've regularly got the bunting up, and they're just quite picturesque. Anyway, I'm going to go and have a look, see if I can find whether my sister's property is still here or not. That's your main high street. Now my sister's place was 54B the High Street, which was a little alleyway just down the side of the Cannon pub, or maybe about 100 metres further from that. You have your old post office there. It's got some sort of mock Tudor look with some of the buildings. There's a Costa that we was in earlier. Then the Cannon pub is just short of that, and then we should find the alleyway to where my sister's property was. It's only a small little place. You obviously can't get entrance to it now, and someone probably lives there, but it'd be interesting to have a look, see if it still remains. All this has certainly changed. I think that was a supermarket when I used to stay at my sister's. The bank was there. It's now obviously a restaurant. That was your Cannon pub. and there's just a little alleyway down the side. So this is the alleyway which will have led down. You have 54A immediately to me right, which is there, and my sister's property, if it's still there, was 54B. It never had any windows at the back, there was all at the front looking into a garden. But that was my sister's property back in the mid-late 80s. I used to ride the bike, my motorcycle up here, park in the garage, it would have been here. There was a hairdresser's here. Yeah, just as we probably all would have remembered it. There you go, Deb, that was for you. This is one of Newport Pagnell's most famous landmarks. Actually, it's one of the most famous landmarks in the world for this sort of bridge. That is the oldest iron constant use bridge. Say that loosely because it's actually having work done on it, so there is no use on it at all at the moment, but that is the oldest constant use iron bridge in the world. There are larger ones, but the excess of traffic through Tickford Street through to the main high street, that would certainly been used many times hourly. Ironically, it's not in use today. It is certainly ironic that things don't go to plan when you turn around and say this is going to be the oldest constant use bridge and it's out of action. Oh well, things can't be helped, but we're currently on Tickford Street making our way to a location which is synonymous with 007 James Bond. It's not him himself, but the vehicles that he would use in the movies and he's mostly known for. Whether it be DB5, DB7, etc, etc. But over there is your home of Aston Martin. Guessing with the Tickford Street bridge closed, traffic through here is pretty light at the moment. Certainly haven't seen anything on a par of what it normally would be. This could be backed up on a Saturday or Sunday, but there's nothing at all. But all your local pubs are open. Not that I want to drink beer in this weather, it'll soon dehydrate you. That is a seriously old property, all ramshackled. Would have probably originally been a house, maybe then converted into garages, etc, but that has certainly looked as if it's going to fall down any second. There we go, some of your Aston Martins. This is just a showroom, but behind there is your works. Do we know anyone famous to us or anyone at all who has anything to do with Aston Martin, Rach?
My dad worked here for a while.
Yep, Ron certainly done some work here back in the, what is he, 21 now? So he's...
So yeah, it was, he worked here definitely 89 to 90, definitely.
So that would have been more that sort of era. But there we go, so your classic James Bond-esque type vehicles in the background. Here is your Heritage Centre, and the works where Ron probably would have been, because this would not have been here, would have been across the back there. Now I'm not sure, probably Ron worked with engines. I don't think he had anything to do with the panel inside of it. But this is your classic English motoring nowadays. I don't even think Aston Martin's probably English owned anymore, but this is where it originally started. It then moved on somewhere else, but has since come back here as a heritage centre, and they do servicing. They still create a few vehicles, I believe, but there's a lot of history there. I certainly wouldn't own one, not at the price of virtually a mortgage nowadays for one of them vehicles. Now, if my memory serves me right, what is in front of us, where that Tickford Arcade and the Rock Mortgage Brokers, and there's a sign, the old times, the old Raffles picturesque thing, that was your old cinema. Can't remember what it was called, but it was certainly in that location. This very spot here brings back some memories, some quite painful memories of the warm down sessions. If anyone of you would sort of know the song Get Down Sally, there's a song we used to do at the end of training. This area here was a training facilities for a team that I used to do training with, OB City. We used to have obstacle courses here. I used to beast out a shed load of sit-ups, do press-ups, running in and out of the cones with the balls. Basically like a tug-of-war thing, pulling your teammates along, and games at the end of that session in the pitch area over there in the distance. But for nickname purposes, we'll just call them, these ain't their actual names, we'll call them nickname wise, we'll call them Geary and Ashcroft. I think that seems pretty apt nicknames. They used to put us through the mill, so to speak, and the female trainer who worked with the MK Dons, etc., she was a sadist, let's just say. But yeah, some good old times. This was maybe 3-4 years ago. I'm actually back playing now. I've been playing Will Coleman, a few of the other guys that I used to know. We've gone back, I'm too old and past it, my legs have gone, so I've gone back to walking football. And we play on a Thursday night, predominantly over 50s, so we're growing slowly, but we're enjoying it. Now, I've been playing football in its loosest terms for many a decade now. I'm now 51 years old, so the legs have gone, the body's seen a lot better times. But along with playing football itself, I've actually refereed one game in my lifetime. It's actually a ladies' game, and the significance of that is to do with a mural we're about to go and see, to a fantastic young lady who has gone leaps and bounds above, been a real inspiration throughout the UK. So we should go and have a look at that. I've been quite lucky in playing the magnificent game of football. Basically, over the years, I've had the chance to play at St George's Park with Manby Fat Football, but I still played there. That's not many people get to do that. Also, on top of that, through playing along the side, along with your guys at MK Don's set, which is predominantly for people who've got disabilities or just football in the community itself, I was given the opportunity to play and captain a side back in, I think it was April 2016, I think it was. MK Dons that day were playing away at the county ground, which was Swindon Town, and we was invited to play an exhibition game at the half time. The game itself finished 1-1, and so did our actual game, and after 5 minutes the ball bounced luckily for me, and I sort of semi-half volleyed it. We put everything behind it and in the back of the net, and the MK Dons fans in the far corner all jumping up and down. Prior to that, there was a bit of sledging going on, a bit of banter between myself and the crowd in the main stand as we walked up towards the pitch. But yeah, full time come, it was 1-1. We was under the cosh pretty much after my goal. Mark done a fantastic job in goal, and we walked out off the pitch to a standing ovation from probably somewhere near about 8,500 fans, which is pretty spectacular. But that is nothing in comparison to what this fine young lady has done. Leah Williamson, she's an Arsenal player, she's England centre-back stroke midfield player. She's had 37 caps for England, 2 goals, and I think she's got 3 caps for the Great Britain team, which would be your Olympic side. Now, her mural, which 3 local fellas have sprayed on a garage around the corner, is depicted to her, and she's actually got the freedom of the city of Milton Keynes. The first 7 person to do that. Now, people have turned around and said, why has Greg Rutherford not got it? The reason why that is because Milton Keynes was not a city at that point. Leah herself would actually watch Greg Rutherford in the Olympics in 2012, and for a small period of time she actually contemplated becoming an athlete before concentrating on football, and the world's been at her feet ever since. Let's go and have a look. Now if you happen to be in Newport Pagnell, you know where the Quick Fit is, or the Bargain Booze, Domino's Pizza, etc. Look immediately across the road to that, you see this wall. You don't see a lot here, but it's when you go round where it opens up, and it truly is fantastic. There is a saying that you'll hear chanted a lot on the terraces of football, which turns around and says, one of our own. Now to Newport Pagnell, this is very much one of their own. Leah was born here. She went to Ousdale School, which is a school that I've got fond memories of absolutely hammering at rugby back in the day. And here's the young lady herself. And what a fantastic mural. The passion that these girls showed on that pitch throughout the tournament, truly incredible. Mural depicting the lion, the young lionesses, and what a fantastic effort. I think football itself has changed. I'm noticing a lot from your ladies, they've got a real hunger for the game now. Something that the guys used to have, which seems to have long passed. The problem you've got is there's too much money in football now, and the guys believe that they've made it. Very much a case of my club. There's been a lot of problems over the last couple of seasons. Players come in, instantly sign contracts that are worth millions, and they just do not put the effort in. These girls give their heart and soul, and quite rightly so, they reap the rewards. Now, as mentioned in the title of this, I turned around and said that football actually come home twice to this town. The reason being is not only because of the fabulous Leah Williamson, who is the England captain, who has got the freedom of the city of Milton Keynes, which is from this suburb of Newport Pagnell, but Newport Pagnell itself is home to Newport Pagnell Town Football Club, who themselves brought football home, because Newport Pagnell Town are the current FA Vase winners. They won the FA Vase at Wembley it was actually May the 22nd, which was my sister's birthday last year, no, this year even, and that's their next game, Rugby Town. And themselves, in their history, this is their first major win. I think they beat Littlehampton 3-0 at Wembley back on May the 22nd. And as I said, it's football coming home again. The FA Cup is the oldest cup competition in the world. I'm not sure how old the FA Trophy is, or the FA Vase it's now called. But yeah, the FA Vase is open to all non-league affiliated teams throughout England. Whereas non-league teams can participate in the FA Cup, which you will get your league teams, your teams that participate in the European Championships, etc. This is specifically for the non-league teams. Behind their tight little ground, they have a small training facilities where the team will play in between games, do their training, etc. And if you can see from the badge there on the corner, I did do a picture of it myself, but there depicts, there we go, a picture of myself here, that there depicts, remember the iron bridge that we walked by the side of, which is the oldest in the world continuously used iron bridge, which is not in use at the moment. But yeah, they nicknamed the Swans, and that's the badge. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys, today has been particularly hard on the body. I don't feel right. I don't know if it's heat stroke or whatever. I've had a bit of a dicky belly this morning, headache, etc. The temperature's just been ridiculous, and as standard we do not have air conditioning in this country, so trying to get a decent night's sleep is an absolute nightmare. But I hope I've brought something to you guys. Hope you've enjoyed it. Yeah, it's just one of them things. Not everything's going to go to plan, and it's been a struggle. But for now, that's the day's vlog at its end. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll see you in the movies. Bye for now.